Hey everybody, Dean Young Home Tech. Hope everybody's doing well today. Hump day. Halfway through our week, getting ready for some more weekend precipitation, maybe. Hope you're prepared for that. Everybody run to the grocery store and buy your bread and milk and whatever. So, real quickly, I was thinking about something on my way home. And I'm going to throw it out there. It's an inspection I done about a week or so ago with a client who had a family member there that was an engineer, and he does contracting work or whatever. But anyway, I done the home inspection, and his sister-in-law, which is the engineer, mentioned something about duct tape around some ductwork, or about some tape around some ductwork. She says that may be asbestos. So, of course, she's not a licensed home inspector, even though she's an engineer, but she's doing inspecting, you know what I'm saying? She's crossing the line. But anyway, so she got the buyer thinking. So he's like, yeah, there's some tape falling off right here. And I looked at it and I was just like, you typically, asbestos tape is white. Typically it's white. And there's different variations of it. There's the insulation, which is round. Almost looks like a terry cloth being wrapped around something with little honeycomb looking through it. And then you have like the white, almost looks like fiberglass tape, which is asbestos tape. But we never say it's asbestos tape, we say asbestos-like material. But anyway, so we've got that. And then there was another area upstairs in the bathroom where nobody noticed, but there was a crack in the tile. This house was built in 1930 something, 50 something, I don't know, between 30 and 50. It was older, but they had tile in the bathroom like they did back in the old school days. They had tile, and there was a perimeter crack on the perimeter wall. There was a crack, horizontal crack, went straight across into the corner and then around to the interior wall, right behind the toilet. So it's beside the toilet and then behind the toilet. And then there was some mosaic tile on the floor, the old school mosaic tile. There was a crack there on the floor. So just done my, you type it up and you move on type deal. So I made a note of that the way the crack was, it looked like there was some type of improper support or settlement the licensed general contractor should evaluate. Okay, so in that situation, typically what's going to happen is a general contractor should come in, go into the bathroom, look at the crack, look at the floor, and say, oh, there's a basement here, let me go look in the basement, and say, oh, there's some stuff going on here, yeah, this and this would correct it. Okay, so here's what I'm getting to. So I do my report, I send my report. I told my brother Corey, I was like, this guy's going to call me. He's going to complain about something. I could just tell everything that was going on in the house between the engineering sister-in-law and him, the way that they were just acting and talking about stuff to the house. It was kind of annoying in a way because I was trying to do my job and focus. Very hard to do. So I knew something was going to come. So the next day I'm at my inspection, and Vanessa texts me that the buyer from yesterday said something about I didn't put something in the report or whatever, and I told Corey, I was like, here Corey, here we go, and he was like, what? And I told him. So anyway, so I called the guy. His complaint was that I did not put a picture of the falling duct tape in the report, and that I did not mention that there may have been asbestos tape around the ducts. So they're trying to tell me how to do my job, and his sister-in-law stepped above her qualifications or whatever, trying to do home inspector, and put that thought in his mind, is the one that gave him that thought, which I knew it wasn't. And I was thinking, if I call that out and somebody goes in there and to test it or look at it, they're going to say that's not asbestos tape. That home inspector don't know what he's talking about. They're going to make me look dumb. So I told him I didn't report it because I didn't see an issue with it. He was like, you didn't see an issue with it? It was falling off. I was like, the original duct tape or the original tape was still intact. Somebody had just took the new duct tape that was not made for that type of duct and wrapped it around it, and just from being in a basement where you're going to get moisture, it's not climate controlled, it's going to get moisture and it's just going to fall off because it's not made for that application. He was like, you wouldn't put that in a report? You didn't put that in a report? And I was like, no, I didn't, and I'm not going to go back and take a picture of it. I was like, if you want me to write a comment about it and put it in there to satisfy you, I would gladly do that. But there could have been an asbestos in it. I was like, okay, if you want me to put a statement about falling tape on the duct, I will do that. If you want me to put a statement about asbestos-like tape or material on the ducts needs further testing, I will do that. It was like, okay. And then he was like, well, what about the under the bathroom floor? You didn't say anything about under the bathroom floor. I was like, what do you mean I didn't say anything about under the bathroom floor? I was like, I made a note that there was perimeter cracks, there was cracks in the tile of the wall and the floor in the bathroom, and needs further evaluation by a general contractor. And since a general contractor should go underneath, if it's a crawl space or a basement, and look and see if there's a support issue. Well, you didn't take a picture of that. I was like, no, I didn't. I took a picture of the bathroom cracks. That's the cracks. You know, what's the issue? What's failed here? The cracks. There's cracks. That's what I took a picture of. So he was like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Da, da, da. I was like, oh my God. And then he was talking about the asbestos tape again. And I told him there's a statement that I put in there when older houses that if you want additional testing for asbestos, lead, whatever else, that it's an older home, that you should do that on your own. He was like, but that's just a generic statement. I was like, exactly, that's to cover myself, because I don't do that testing. Some of the testing I might, but I don't test asbestos, I don't test lead. Those things you need to have tested. So we kept going back and forth, and I was just getting aggravated. And I was like, listen, I don't know if you're trying to make me look bad or whatever. I mean, I don't know what your issue is with me. If you want a refund, I'll gladly give you a refund. I don't know what's going to make you happy, but you just seem like you're just nitpicking these couple things here for no reason when I've done my job. So my whole thing overall is in home inspections, a lot of people don't understand it, and that's just what I don't get sometimes, because it gets aggravating because people interpret the report in different ways, in different manners. And I told him, you have a different insight on things because you're a contractor. You're going to look at things differently as opposed to somebody that may be a welder or a bricklayer or an electrician or whatever. You may interpret the report totally different than they do. Some people are going to look at the report in a technical manner. Some people are going to look at it like they don't have no idea. So everybody's going to interpret it different. And my whole thing is, and I've tried to explain this before, my analogy of a home inspection is, and I get sick of saying this, but we are generalists, like a general physician. If I have a problem with my pinky toe, say I'm in a home inspection, or I'm a general physician, there's a problem with my pinky toe. I go to a general doctor and they look at it and they say, yeah, it looks a little swollen here. I'm going to refer you to a podiatrist. So I'm going to go to that podiatrist, and that podiatrist is going to look at that pinky toe, but then he's going to evaluate my whole foot. He's going to test it, he's going to look at it, he's going to run tests, he's going to do whatever to look at the overall condition of my foot. So the same thing, if I go into a crawl space and I see an issue with something, damaged substructure somewhere, I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'm gonna move on. I'm not gonna go looking for other damage through the crawl space, because I called out something in that crawl space, and I'm gonna refer you to a general contractor, and a general contractor should go under there and say, yes, I do see that area. And while I was evaluating it, I noticed this area over here, and this over here, and this over here. And we're gonna take care of all this in one. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna call out 1,000 different things under one category in the crawl space. If there's substructure damage, then get a general contractor to come out there and evaluate the whole substructure. Okay, if I'm in a crawl space and I notice moisture entry coming in, guess what? I'm gonna make a notice of the moisture entry and I'm done. You get a waterproofing contractor to come in and evaluate the whole system of the drainage system. A lot of people don't understand that. They think you're going to call out every single little nitpicky part of the substructure where there is a problem. If it's in a different category, then yeah. But typically, I'm going to call out the one thing, and then that professional is going to come in and do their job. That's what they're getting paid for. That's what they're there for, to make the money. They're not there to say, well, he missed this, he missed this. No, I didn't miss it. I got you in there. I'm reporting on some things that were done or noticed at the time of the day of inspection for you to go in and further evaluate. Because I could call out damage in the substructure in a corner and maybe another thing and another thing, and then he goes under there and he sees those things and he sees another thing and says, well, you didn't call this out. Well, guess what? Maybe something changed. Maybe something happened. Kind of like my van started this morning and it took me to my first job, but when I went to crank my van to leave my first job, it wouldn't start. You know, did I miss something? Did I not see something? No. Things happen, things fail. It's like people getting a home inspection. They close, they move in, and then they go in and they notice a leak in the roof, or coming from the upstairs, a leak. Typically that's going to be in the roof. If it's on the main level and there's upstairs, it's typically going to be between floor levels. It's going to be plumbing. So they move in, they're downstairs, and they notice a stain that I didn't call out or wasn't there, or maybe it was and it wasn't leaking at the time of inspection. Who are they going to call? They're going to call me. Why aren't you going to call a plumber? Why aren't you going to call a roofer? Why are you going to call me? You missed this. Hold on a minute. Call the proper professional. Call the roofer or the plumber. Which, if you're upstairs, you're going to call the roofer. If you're downstairs and it's leaking, you're going to call a plumber. You're not going to call a home inspector. Who's to say I missed it? You know, there could have been a leak that happened between the time I inspected it and the time you closed on the home. And people aren't thinking outside the box. They want to be closed-minded and throw somebody under the bus and try to get something for nothing. And that's what aggravates me the most about this job. And I feel like I talk about it a lot, but people just don't understand it. We are generalists. We do a visual inspection of the property, of the time and the date of inspection only. That is it. What happens to the house tomorrow or once I leave that driveway has nothing to do with me. So if the heat was functioning when I was there and it doesn't function when you move in, that's not my fault.